Hey everyone, I had a request to show tutorials on how I was building a couple of the terrain projects that I'm working on. So I'm going to show you part of this one first. This is not the part that the request was for, but this goes along with it. So this is my modular road system that I'm working on. So these are the flat road pieces. Let's see, they all fit right together. So you can build them however you want. That's just to show that part of it. Now let me get the part that the request was for and I will show you that. So the actual request was for how I built this. Basically a destroyed overpass. Right now it's 3 pieces. My intent is I'm going to use paper clips, put them in here and have crumbled sections kind of falling down, and I'm have ruined sections that'll sit below it like it actually just fell, and then I'll have like the rebar just sticking out at some points as well. So this is what someone wanted to know how I built it, so I'm going to show that. Now let me get everything set up and we will get started. Of course the pieces I showed were works in progress. They still have to be finished painting, thinking about putting the yellow lines in the center of the roads. And of course the rebar part I've already mentioned. Now what I used to build it is just the foam core. A lot of people know about this and use it already. But that's what I used to actually make the roads. So I cut the roads 3 3/4 inches. I already cut one here to save a little time. That is the perfect size for most vehicles. The only one that barely fits is the Land Raider. So the Land Raider really can't go on the bridge with the side railings like it has. As you can see here, perfect size for a Rhino. So I have a piece of equipment that's indispensable to me. That is a steel ruler. That's what I measure everything out with, and I use it as a guide to cut since you can't cut the ruler itself. The railings are 3/4 inches. I just cut those to fit. Give you an idea how high that is to a figure. I'm going to turn the camera. Not quite up to the waist. And then as far as the support at the bottom, down here, I just eyeball it and I just cut a couple pieces about the size of the road itself. And then for the supports, I use just white PVC pipe. Now, unfortunately, I must be about out because this is all I could find, so I won't be able to build a complete model, but it'll get you the idea. But just bought this at Lowe's, Home Depot, some kind of do-it-yourself kind of store. And then I cut it down to the length that I want, and when I put it here on the base, I cut a support, and then I just hollow that out so this sits down in it to give it a little more support. And I do the same thing on the bottom under here. Get a little more light. There we go. So you cut that hole and then it sits down in there, and that just gives you added support. Now a trick that I found to hollow out the hole is put this in the center. Just give it a little pop. And I don't know how well you can see that, but it gives you an indentation. You just cut around that and hollow it out. Then as far as cutting this section apart, I just make it whatever length I want. But when I separate these two, what I do is I go at an angle. And what that does is when you put these two together, you just flip one over and the angles fit. Like that. So then you put your support beam underneath here. Then you cut your side rails. Now with the side rails, same thing. As you can see here, I cut it at an angle. One of them is cut flush, the other one has to be cut at an angle so it fits together. Now I'm going to fill that in a little bit better. Put little bullet holes in the sides there, make it a little war worn. Then paint this up whatever color matches your board. Now as far as the road itself, as you can see that nice texture, I have this woodland scenery flock. I don't know what size this is, I don't have the bag anymore, but I just put glue down on the road and just put this flock all over it. It gives it a nice asphalt texture. Then once you have it all together, just paint it, fill any areas you need to fill in, add some battle damage, and there you go. There's a figure on the bottom. Show you the height of that. Put him here at the top. And get my handy dandy rhino. And there you go. I know that was real quick. It wasn't a complete thorough walkthrough. I think it basically gives you the idea, gives you what you need to know if you want to build your own. If there's any questions, please let me know. Like I've said before, unfortunately I don't have a lot of time, so I'm having to do this quick. But I promised I would get that up, and there it is. So I have one more that was requested. I will get to that one. That one's definitely going to take a little bit more time. And what it is basically wanting to know how I build these. This is just one of my smaller ones, but I have a large hanger size one as well. So I will get to that tutorial, post it as soon as I can. Hope this helps, hope you enjoyed. Take care. I had a couple of afterthoughts after creating this video, so I'm going to go ahead and just have a little addendum here at the end of it. For gluing it together, I just use either white glue or wood glue, and it works just fine. And then when working with the foam core here as a base, if you just cut it and you put glue and you put paint and you put flock, you put sand, anything on it, a lot of you probably have noticed this before if you've worked with it, it will warp up so it doesn't sit flush. That's the tension as all that dries pulls it up, so then it just doesn't sit flush and doesn't look right. So the way I've found to kind of alleviate that problem is before you use this as a base, just pop it. Now once you get it all done, it's still going to be stable, but that relieves that tension, and I find that when you do that, that after you glue everything and paint everything, that you're able to make it sit flush. But just a couple final thoughts there on this video. Hope that helps.